Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of the EKN OutLap. My name's Rob Howden, joined by David Cole as we are primed and ready to hit the air, heading to the southwest as we head to California and K1 circuit for the first time. This is episode 86 of the OutLap, March 4th, 2025 preview podcast. Of course, all part of our EKN Trackside live coverage that we'll have of this coming weekend's Challenge of the Americas, the second stop on the 2025 calendar. We'll do our OutLap preview, work your way through the event notes. Of course, as always, go to the by the numbers, then dive into class by class previews just to let you know who's kind of has the point lead rolling in and who we expect to see up front. This edition of the OutLap presented by AIM Sports. From its early days, AIM Sports has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and they are excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including a 25 Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and many more features. It's perfect for a karting enthusiast looking to enhance their game on the track. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron. All right, David, let's jump into this one here. We're a couple days away from jetting off to Southern California. Second event, third and fourth rounds of this year's Challenge of the Americas. And for you and I, this March 7th, 8th, 9th event, first time we've been able to check out the new K1 circuit in Winchester, California.
Yes, this is going to be our first taste of Winchester. Not the Winchester everybody thinks about. Where's that one? That's Indiana.
Winchester Speedway.
Yeah, right?
Yes, the high banks. The high banks.
This one's different. This one's in K1. This is the K1 circuit. We've been talking about this for over 10 years, Rob, right? We were at the Rio a long time ago. Somebody said, yes, we're building a racetrack in Southern California. It's so coming. True. It's going to happen. And we waited. And then it got built. And then we waited. Now we're going to get our first taste of it this coming weekend. My first trip to San Diego Airport. That'll be another one to check off the list. But
been there many, many times myself.
Yes, you have. Yeah. So it's going to be a weekend of a lot of firsts. That's definitely for us, for the challenge. For a number of the competitors and teams that haven't been to K1 circuit yet. So, it's going to be one to remember.
Yeah, agreed. The funny thing is we talked about the Winchester Speedway, which is a high banked oval that super late models, that kind of thing, drive on. The bottom line is, David, we'll probably be as fast at this K1 circuit in the shifter kart category because it's so wide open and flat out from what we're being told. A very fast racetrack, very similar to the speeds those late models turn at the banks of Winchester. But indeed, it's looking forward to finally getting there. You, David, you and I have watched video now. We've seen all the photography. We've just never been trackside. So not often in these recent years that you and I get a chance to go to a track for the first time. So really looking forward to this one. As we all know, folks, the 18th season of the Challenge of the Americas all started back in 2008. But again, first time to K1 circuit. And David, they've always had, not say always, but there's normally been obviously a Southern California influence. That's where FTK Promotions was based for the longest time. Cal Speed was a place that was always part of the program, the schedule before it got torn up and essentially we lost that fantastic track. So good to have another facility and good to see the challenge back in SoCal.
Yeah, excited to see to be back in Southern California because it's been since 2020, right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah,
we were
right.
in Cal Speed in Fontana, California, and so it's been since then that the challenge has been in Southern California. So it's a long drought that challenge based in Southern California when it first started back in 2008. So that's been its home. And so it's kind of challenge has kind of been without its home, even though Andy's not based there in Southern California anymore. It really was the home for the challenge. So, the one crazy thing that could happen, and typically we don't see this happen in Southern California, we're going to see some rain coming Wednesday and Thursday. So the next 2 days could see rain in the area. Luckily, it's supposed to go away for the race weekend, but for the people who have never been there and we're planning on getting some sessions in on Wednesday and Thursday, that could damper their hopes for the weekend.
Yeah, and why bother getting on track if it's not going to rain? If it's not going to rain throughout the weekend, looking at low 60s or mid 60s to high 60s on Friday, potentially up into the 70s on Saturday and Sunday. I like the sound of that. Get some sunshine and some low 70s, perfect temperatures. As we know, midsummer in that area is much hotter for sure. Dave, one thing I will say before we move on to the event notes is, this program, which obviously expands here for 2025, going from 3 races to 4 races, from being an Arizona and a California-based program to up into Utah right now. This Southern California event is crucial. And you've mentioned it's been since 2020 since we've been able to have an event in the Challenge of the Americas in Southern California. A lot of the teams are based there, right? There are teams that are, of course, based out of Phoenix. So, an Arizona start is always good. That's their local race. But we haven't had that race for the teams that are based in Southern California. So this is that one event where they're not driving 7 or 8 hours or 10 hours to get to the racetrack. For the most part, they're, some of them may even be able to stay at home, however they decide to play it out there, depending on where they're based. So it's really good for a program like this to be able to have that round, to get that one back where this is that one non-travel round, the not big travel round for the teams. The same goes, of course, you get drivers coming out of Utah, and those are to Colorado or, up a little further north. So getting a race in their backyard up there is going to be good into the future as well. But this one, I think, for all those Southern California-based teams, this is one they were like, okay, this is great. We're not driving all over the place to get to the racetrack.
Yeah, because it's a 3-weekend stretch for the K1 circuit, having the Tri-C karters hosting their event 2 weekends ago. Last weekend was the Pro Kart Challenge opening up their 2025 season. So Challenge is wrapping up a 3-weekend stretch at K1 circuit with, massive entries for the previous 2, and we're going to have a good amount of entries. We have a number of new drivers that weren't in Tucson, so it's going to be the kind of that mix. We're going to get walk-ups, of course. We always get that with a challenge. So yeah, we're looking at good numbers. Hopefully, the weather will pass and we'll have great weather throughout the weekend.
Yeah, indeed, exactly that. Let's have a look at the track, and so David and I've never been there, so we're just going to tell you what we know. It's not from the fact that we've been there for many times. A 1-mile track, David, 12 turns, 33 feet of elevation change. They're going to run it in the clockwise direction. This is going to be, again, for us, first time going to this track, and a first time for many, actually, get a chance to come down to K1.
Yeah, because as we mentioned, it opened at the end of towards the end of last year. So the second half of the season, people got to experience the K1 circuit, get a feel for it. So a lot of the Southern California drivers and teams, as you mentioned, have a good feeling, a good understanding of this racetrack so far. Obviously the one element that's going to be changed is the Shinko racing tires that the Challenge of the Americas utilizes. So this will be the first time that for many that this compound will be utilized at this circuit, which, looking at it from the outside looking in, it reminds me of kind of a location of similar to Tucson, where it's out in the middle of a desert, lots of sand. So this isn't your typical Midwestern or East Coast racetrack that has grass. So anytime you go off, you're going to get dirt. They do have some good runoff areas in certain spots around it, including the last turn after the long straightaway. That's almost, I think, 500 feet, if not longer. So you have that certain spots that do have runoff areas. So that'll be something that, the Challenge has already talked about internally, looking at how they are going to officiate the racetrack. So that'll be something that a lot of the race teams and competitors are going to have to monitor once they get into official sessions on Friday, once the event begins.
Speaking of that, David, let's go through the event schedule. Wednesday and Thursday, as you mentioned, unofficial practice run by the track, but that could be wet. We'll see whether or not many people decide to take advantage of that, thinking that we're going to have a dry weekend. Friday, David, practice 5 rounds, the usual Challenge of the Americas, 10-10, 12-12, then 20-minute open hot pit session.
Yeah, that'll be the interesting part, seeing how the hot pit works. Again, we've never been there. We know they have that full long stretch a hot pit area and grid area. So it'll be interesting to see how that transpires. We'll do some video of that so people kind of get a feel for the hot pit area at the K1 circuit. We've seen it at Tucson, we've seen it in Phoenix, we've seen it all other places. So this is something that's going to be brand new for the K1 circuit for sure. Something they've not probably had before. And then we get into our racing action on Saturday with round 3. Warm-up qualifying pre-final will be 12 laps for all the categories except cadet, running 10. And then the finals will be 18 laps with the cadet division running 15 laps. And then we'll repeat that on Sunday for round 4.
Yeah, rounds 3 and 4 here at K1. Of course, as we said, from there up to Sonoma, and then capping it all off in this extended 4-weekend Challenge of the Americas program for 2025 in Utah Motorsports Campus. Excited to get up there to see who comes away with the championship. All right, into our first break in the action. When we get back after this one here, folks, quick pit stop for us. We'll come back, and it will be by the numbers. We'll let you know where the numbers are for all of the 6 categories. Remember, only 6 classes, a very tight class lineup for the Challenge of the Americas. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the By the Numbers. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry, and with over 30 years of combined karting experience, we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away. We continue to add to our growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, the ceramic product line, Driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, Smoker performance sprockets, OTK products, AIM, MG tires, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. Be sure to stop by the Franklin trailer during the United States Pro Kart Series events as the official trackside vendor. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. Made in the USA. It's not just a statement, it's the mission at Factory Karts of America. Led by 4-time Supernats champion Billy Musgrave, Factory Karts manufactures their frames completely in-house at the Riverside, California facility. Built and designed from the ground up specifically for the American karting market, Factory Karts brings new innovations and solutions that are long overdue. Factory Karts bring together the highest quality materials to produce a high-performance, long-lasting kart that has been designed and perfected from 3 years of development, with a focus for a big push across North America in 2023. No other karting manufacturer stands behind its product like Factory Karts does, providing a 2-year warranty on all their frames. Do you remember when American made meant innovative, original, stronger, faster, and just plain better? Well, American Made is back. Contact Factory Karts today to join the American Made movement. Learn more by visiting factorykarts.com or email Billy anytime at info@factorykarts.com. History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that can describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation located just outside of Indianapolis has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. From full karting packages, new engines, spare or replacement parts, and safety gear, find it all at CometKartSales.com. Their Comet Racing Engine service has won multiple major events and championships over decades of karting and continues to offer the best trackside service in the industry, specializing in IAME X30, IAME Swift, and other 2-cycle power plants. Make sure to head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today. Back at it here with this edition of the EKN OutLap. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole. Episode number 86 of the OutLap, starting off our coverage for this coming weekend's Challenge of the Americas trip to the K1 circuit in Winchester, California. Great to get back in SoCal for some racing, and excited. David and I both thrilled to get out there to see this track for the first time. There are, David, a number of drivers who are coming for the first time. Many drivers coming to the Challenge of the Americas for the first time, which I think is key. Out of the gate, 105 entries in Tucson with some of the walk-ups we had. There was a number of cancellations. We probably could have been up to 110 or 120, but the cancellations of drivers not able to make it to Tucson, David, kind of outweighed by those or balanced by those who entered at the racetrack. Right now for K1, 102 categories, 102 drivers rather pre-entered for the race. We'll see if we can get to the 110, 115 mark. But kind of the by the numbers are interesting. It's kind of an interesting look in terms of the fact that the single speed stuff is still good. 37 drivers again in 100cc senior, massive group of drivers for senior. Just not the numbers we would have expected to see in the shifter kart categories. The challenge has really been strong in shifters over the last number of years.
Yeah, Rob, and it's just, the ebbs and flows of the sport that we see. There's not really a reason to pinpoint it, other than I think most shifter drivers are kind of limiting their budget and limiting their events they attend, and that's kind of what we're seeing a little bit more in terms of that. We have a new tire, so it's new for a lot of the shifter kart competitors that they're used to the other compounds, so that could be a factor as well. So, but we do have 102 drivers, so that's one key to look at. No double duty drivers, so we see 102 actual drivers, including entries across the 6 categories. So double digits in the 4. I think we'll get some walk-ups for the shifter categories. I'm not sure if we'll get into the double digits there, but again, it's the ebbs and flows of the sport. I just did an interview with one of the magazines in Europe. I talked about that, where we've had different power plants in shifter kart racing for a number of years, and so it's the flow. It's now that we're on the same level in terms of the rest of the world with the KZ platform. It's just now it's like it increases the cost, and that's another factor that you have to look at in terms of how many events these guys are actually going to go and do.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Let's talk. We'll roll into the shifter class at the end here. So cadet is set at 17. There's 21 in Tucson, so down a little bit, but still 17 drivers in the 60cc cadet class, which is always great to have the young guys coming into the Challenge of the Americas program. 100cc junior at 23 drivers, which is a solid field. 37, as I said, in 100cc senior. Actually, a pretty strong increase, over 50% for 100cc masters. 13 drivers, David, 100cc masters, and you and I love to see that. Hopefully, maybe a couple extra walk-ups to bring that up to 15. So there was only 8 in Tucson, 13 right now for this weekend, which is great. Just 6 drivers in each of the shifter kart categories. 6 drivers in seniors, 6 drivers in masters. It's actually an increase of 1 in the masters drivers, but we lost 3 in senior. And really, I think you mentioned it, David. There's ebbs and flows, but really it comes down to a couple of things at least for this particular race in Southern California. We would have expected to maybe see more shifter drivers. The bottom line is that you mentioned 3 races in a row at the track. Also, the fact that the Pro Kart Challenge, the Superkarts USA program, ran just last weekend. If you were a shifter kart driver thinking about the Pro Tour, the opening round of the Pro Tour in Speed Sports in Texas at the end of the month, you're testing on the Evincos at K1, which not dissimilar to Speed Sports. You're staying on that tire. The Shinko tire is obviously new, right? And people are saying, hey, listen, I've got limited events that I'm going to run on. I'm going to focus here potentially on running the Pro Tour or whatever it may be. It's the drivers who are still here that are into the Shinkos, and this program is a big program. I'm doing the Challenge of the Americas in the West. I'm not traveling all the way to the East to run the Pro Tour. This is my program, and those are the drivers that are here, and it's just going to grow, right? The bottom line is as this program expands, the Shinko tire comes in, people get comfortable with it, you're going to see more drivers come out and run this series in 2025.
It is 2025, so next year, yeah.
2026.
There you go.
I was thinking so hard about that when I was in St. Petersburg last weekend at the IndyCar weekend for USF Pro. Don't say 2024. Don't say 2024.
Yeah,
wow.
it's
That's wild to think 2026. I'm sorry. That's wild.
Oh, I know.
That's
I
wild.
know. You don't need to tell me. My son graduates next year. So
wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right.
Makes you even older.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Again, it's the ebbs and flows of the sport. And look at the Masters guys, those guys shelled out, money to put the 175 together. They put the rock package that had a lot of participation.
Yep.
And now that kind of gone away because everybody's moved over to the KZ platform. So you kind of get people are like, I'm done. I don't want to keep shelling money for a bunch of boat anchors. And, we saw that a lot with 100cc racing, making the transition away from the Yamaha into what was then the KPV and the HPV. People weren't really into it. And so it went away. The 100cc stuff went away. And now that there's, the VLR and the IAME KA engine, it's peaked back up. So again, it's the ebbs and flows of the sport.
Well, David, I've been in the sport obviously since '95. I'm working on 30 years. You're the same. So we've seen it. Like people that are brand new. I'll wrap up this segment just with that. Is the fact that people that are in the sport for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, like, oh my God, there's kind of turmoil, and you and I are sitting back like, hey guys, zoom out, because again, all those ebbs and flows. People nowadays never heard of the Yamaha. It's a vintage engine now, right? So essentially, you're exactly that. It's everything's settling down. We're moving. Tires have moved. People go to different tires, whatever it may be. So again, with Andy Saisman and FTK Promotions locking down the Shinko, becoming the importer and the distributor, there is stability now in the program. Obviously, opening up to the VLR and the IAME, the move over to KZ. There's been a lot of turmoil, a lot of uncertainty and instability, I think, with the challenge, just because Andy's been bobbing and weaving with what he had to do. Now he's put together a platform that he can lock down on. And again, that's why I think you're going to see growth moving forward, because you're going to have that stability in 26 and beyond.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, there's stability now with the tire. We went from Levanto to Vega now to the Shinko. So there's again, a lot of unique and different factors going into promoting this program.
102 pre-entries as of now going to K1. Expect some walk-ups and looking forward to getting there, of course, for the race weekend. Dave and I'll roll in on Thursday, and then, of course, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Looking forward to Trackside live coverage. All right, another break. When we get back, time to go class by class. In this next segment, we'll talk about senior 100cc and junior 100cc, the two biggest categories of the weekend. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is SodiKart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to the new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer SodiKart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. The Sodi Racing USA by PK Sports is the official race team, producing many victories in different levels across the board. And the new Pro Race Academy is designed to cater to the next generation of motor racing, helping boys and girls aiming to make their mark. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about SodiKart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. SodiKart, the world leader in the karting industry. Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. The Parolin Le Mans full-size chassis for junior and senior classes and the Parolin Opportunity model for cadet divisions have earned success weekend after weekend at all the major championships and events in both the USA and throughout Europe. The Parolin chassis lineup also includes the Invader shifter, along with the Daytona 4-cycle chassis and the Delfino Kid Kart. Karters can head to the ParolinUSA.com website where the entire chassis line and parts are available to you, with shipping available all across North America. Parolin USA partners with seveal companies and race teams across the country to provide a strong dealer network to represent the brand locally and at the national level to support drivers throughout North America. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 chassis with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and the Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the rookie, junior, senior, heavy, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the season include the Ignite Majors that begin with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week, running in both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, featuring 5 iconic facilities. Local club programs have also been established in states all across the country, Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite Karting program. Be part of fast, fun, and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Welcome back to this episode of the OutLap, our preview podcast to kick off our EKN Trackside live coverage from this coming weekend's Challenge of the Americas event at K1 Circuit in Southern California. DC, let's get started with Forward Direction Motorsports sponsored Senior 100cc, 37 entries. I want 3 walk-ups. I want 40. I want 40 drivers in this field. 37 looked great at Tucson. I want 40. Obviously, coming out of the gate, Oliver Hodgson for J3 competition on the comp kart was impressive, scoring both victories there, but he was challenged the entire time. He was able to pull away, but drivers like Johnny Stamps and Steven Eisert really stepped up to challenge him. We won't have Hodgson this weekend, David, but there are a couple of drivers coming in that we expect to run up front to make things even more exciting.
Yeah, he's not on the entry list. He could be a walk-up. We don't know. I talked to him in Phoenix a couple weekends ago. He said he's looking at it. It's not on the schedule. It could happen. You know, I said, just steal one of the vans from J3. Don't even show up until Friday night. I said, don't even practice. Like, make it that much more of a statement. Just come in Saturday morning, roll out. And see what you can do. Again, because I was telling him, I'm like, you got to go to the racetrack. You've never been. You got to check it out for sure. Agreed. So we'll see what happens with that. We do have a couple of drivers that weren't racing in Tucson that'll be racing at K1. One of them being Chase Hand. He was there as a driver coach in Tucson, so he's going to put the helmet on for K1 circuit again. Another one of those. Hey, I got to go race at K1. Type scenario. And then Nico Serfati, the junior driver making the move up to the senior ranks, he will be also under that GFC tent as well. So a lot of GFCs going to be rolling in K1. Over 10 drivers on the GFC brand. Well,
I mentioned Johnny Stamps. Of course, he was one of the fastest drivers at Tucson. I think he was pretty quick and in the fight there just this past weekend at the PKC race. So you got Stamps, you got Sarfati, you got Chase Hand, you got Keegan Kaminsky. There's going to be a lot of black and white up front this weekend, I think. I know there's going to be lots of guys ready to battle him, right? As I mentioned, Steven Eisert, he was super fast. Archer Eversman on the Pantano for Forward Direction Motorsports. You know, he's going to be in there. Nick Eggleston. And the driver I mentioned in the OutLap for Tucson, David, Flavio Aquini was a top 10 driver, top 5 driver essentially, but top 10 all weekend long on the ITAL course at Tucson. So I got to expect he'll be in the middle of the fight as well. He's a Californian, so you got to think Flavio will be in there too.
Yeah, again, you just don't quite know with it being a new circuit for at least for us, and a lot of drivers. So you got to think those who have already been there. You know, there were a few events in 2024. There's already been, as we said, the last 2 weeks, a lot of racing there. So it depends on how this track kind of rolls? Because does it change over time? Like that's the one thing that we don't have a lot of feedback on. Is it a lot different? Is it like a Newcastle where it just changes every session you go out on the racetrack, or is it kind of that consistent being a new racetrack the way it is? A consistent run over being California, the weather never changes, right? So being more consistent over the day.
Throw in the Shinko equation.
Right. Yeah.
Right. What are those tires going to be like over a race weekend, over a distance, that's what I love about it. There's a little bit unknown coming into this weekend. I think it's great. Yeah,
and that's what's going to make this category very unknown. We're not sure who's going to be those drivers up front. I think the fast guys are still going to be the fast guys. We see that week in and week out, but you still could see some wild cards come up into the mix.
I want to mention probably Dylan Archer as well, right? For Forward Direction Motorsports on the Pantano, Peyton Fayen for Nelton Race Concepts. She was pretty good at Tucson. Those are a couple of the drivers we haven't touched on it as well.
And we could see big packs, that's with the way the racetrack is, a mile long, a very flowing racetrack. There's not a big technical, hard braking. It looks like there's a couple hard braking zones, but not something that is, it's not like a Phoenix where it just beats the crap out of you every corner. I said that this reminds me of like that Bahrain circuit. Yeah. Like when we watch it on the road tax races, it's just a big flowing racetrack that goes up and down a hill. And that's exactly what K1 is. So I'm going to see, I got to admit, I'm forecasting a lot of drafting throughout the weekend.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's go now to the Nash Motorsports sponsored Junior 100cc class. 23 entries, David, in total. Eric Doan and Jackson Gibson were the drivers who came away with race wins in Tucson. Doan will take a championship lead over Gibson, but by only 6 points coming into this weekend at K1. Xander Malatesta, 50 points back. Sergey Karamseli in the 4th spot, 76 back, and Matthew Cagle, 93 back. Doan and Gibson out to a solid lead here early. But again, this isn't just a 3-weekend program this year. It's 4 weekends. There's a lot of work to be done still before we get to the end of the weekend in Utah.
Yeah, Cagle and Karamseli, right? Karamseli. They have local knowledge over Gibson, Doan, and Malatesta. So that could definitely be a factor in them getting back into the championship chase. But, Doan and Gibson, they're more, and even Malatesta, they're more of the experienced junior drivers in the field. And that's what we saw in Tucson when, especially with Doan and Gibson working together to get away from the pack. So is that something we're going to see in K1? Like I just mentioned, we're going to see big draft packs. So I think that's going to be a big factor in, who's going to be able to fight for the victory on the weekends. So that's going to be, that'll be an interesting scenario to kind of see if there's going to be drivers working together or if it's just kind of going to be just all for one for all.
David, Eric Doan making the move to Nash Motorsports?
Yeah, Eric Doan moving over to Nash Motorsports. I was tipped off by that at the Road Tax weekend by a Nash representative, and so it's a team change for him. So again, same product with the OTK product, so nothing changed there, but just a different atmosphere. So he'll be working probably with Blake Nash, who is coming off a victory at the Road Tax RMC USA West event there in Phoenix. So probably working with him a lot and then the other people under the Nash tent all weekend.
I mentioned the fact that this event allows some of those SoCal teams to get that local race. Formula Works, David, one of the teams, obviously with a big group. I think they have 5 or 6 drivers, maybe 5 here in the junior category. Luca Popescu, no doubt, will be in the fight. Braden Wagner will be there as well. So Formula Works is going to have a lot of drivers. Matthew Cagle, we mentioned him too. There's going to be a lot of those Formula Works drivers up front. You mentioned draft packs, right? If you're working with somebody potentially in your team, it's always nice to have teammates out there if you guys are drafting. So that's big for the Formula Works and GFC drivers. There is a driver making a debut here this weekend, David. Let's talk about Troy Ferguson.
Yeah, Troy Ferguson making the jump up from cadet to the junior ranks in 2025. He's done very well in his cadet career. Was a top competitor when he did come to the challenge over, I don't think last year he was there, but in 2022 certainly was there, or 2023, sorry, was certainly there in contention for wins and championships. So Ferguson is SoCal based. Let's see, in Seal Beach, California. Not quite sure where that is, but that's got to be probably along the coast, right?
You think?
But yeah,
great guess, David.
That's a great guess. I'm going to look it up because now I want to know. But he's been at doing a lot of K1 laps. He's done. I think last weekend was in the cadet shifter category that debuted at the Pro Kart Challenge last weekend. So he's doing a little bit of both single speed stuff and the mini. Yeah, he actually swept the FZ mini category both rounds.
Nice. All right, there you go. Good lineup of 23 drivers at 100cc senior. I said I wanted to skip to 40 in the senior class. Let's get up to 25 at least here in 100cc junior. We're at 23 right now as a pre-entry. Time for another quick break. When we get back, we'll discuss the shifter car drivers, just 6 in each category. But again, like I've always said, all it takes is 2 drivers to battle it out. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of racing we have in the shifter car categories. Right back, we'll come and do our full preview on both senior shifter and shifter masters. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting, and we're primed and ready for the 2022 season with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. CRG Nordam is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, CRG Nordam supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 is our new chassis for tag and shifter racing, and it's been designed specifically for the U.S. market. The KT5 features 30mm construction with a 32mm front loop to increase front grip. CRG's new VEN 13 brake system is cutting-edge technology with a master cylinder that allows for pressure regulation within the system. Drivers can customize brake pressure to their own requirements to improve feel and to avoid brake lockup. The kart is finished with new KG 507, 508 bodywork that has refined aerodynamics and reduced weight. For cadet drivers, the 2022 CRG Black Mirror is already logging positive results to start the new season. This chassis will be making big waves in 2022. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know that the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. With 4-cycle racing enjoying consistent growth in North America, CRG's FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in brakes and Stratton competition. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. CRG Nordam has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to www.kartcrg.com, and to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrg-nordam.com. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history in motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level and track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of race day. Be sure to follow Briggs & Stratton Racing on Facebook and through @RaceBriggs on Instagram. To learn more about the 206 engine or to find the North American dealer near you, head to BriggsRacing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing, what powers you? Back at it with this edition of the OutLap. Rob Howden alongside David Cole, episode 86 of the show. It kicks off our Trackside live coverage for this coming weekend's third and fourth rounds of the Challenge of the Americas in K1 circuit in Winchester, California. We're looking forward to getting there. Let's dive into the gearbox categories here in this particular segment of the show. Sweet Tech Racing Engine sponsoring the Shifter Senior class. 6 pre-entries all told. Michael Avancino with the point lead, having won both races at Tucson. Massimo Valiente gave him a charge, though. His only 57 points back. Nick Leduc, third in points right now. Gagnon and Fries, the other two drivers. No Valiente, no Leduc. So that's a tough one there. We were hoping to see the Italian Motors crew roll back down again with their group of drivers. And that's against one of the reasons, David, why we're from 9 down to 6 entries. There was a number of ITAL kart drivers who were there with Italian Motors. And of course, Nash Motorsports, the program for picking up the ITAL kart shifter program as well. So tough to see both those drivers not coming down. I would like to have seen a bigger group. Valiente on the ITAL, Leduc on the Sodi.
We could see Leduc as a walk-up. That's what he was when he was at Tucson. So we could see him do another walk-up for K1. We know there is a Sodi kart shifter driver in the Masters category, so he could do the senior category to help do data and driver coaching as well. So that could be part of it. We'll have to wait and see, but it could get again with it being 3 straight weekends there. We'll probably get some walk-ups in all the categories. I got to assume there's got to be some local shifter kart drivers that enjoy the challenge, like racing with Andy and the crew. And so there'll probably be a couple more that walk up.
Yeah, Evan Concepcion coming down again from Utah with Scuderia Littell. Let's see if Ayrton brings the cart down with him and jumps behind the wheel. But you're going to have Anthony Fries, Nolan Gagnon, who's in the championship points, as we know, running for Nash. TJ Madonna, David, into the on the lineup as well for GFC. And then Bryce Stevens rounding out the 6 drivers we have in the category.
Yeah, so a little bit of everything. You got 4 different manufacturers. So a lot of different experience as well too. Obviously Avancino on a pretty good hot streak, coming in 2025 off a good second half of the 2024 season, along with being a defending champion here at the challenge. So that's going to be kind of the story. Who can take it to Avancino on the weekend?
That's it. TJ Madonna and Bryce Stevens making their first COTA starts of 2025. We'll go to Shifter Masters that is presented by Nelliton Race Concepts. 6 entries as well. Joe Rook from Greenfield, Indiana, coming over with Michael Gouache, run with that team to be part of that. Is it Shift RZ or Shifters? Is that what they say? What's the team
that part?
name?
I haven't confirmed that, but I'm going to say Shifters. Well, I like Shift RZ a little bit better.
You like
I
that
don't
better?
know. It just kind of flows a little better.
We'll talk to Michael about that when we get there. But yeah, Joe Rook coming back out again. Remember, I was on the mic actually before, kind of just talking about Joe's couple of wins. Like, hey, are we going to see him? I think it was we were on the podium.
Yes.
Will we see Joe Rook at Tucson at K1? And Michael Gouache is like, yes, he'll be there. He'll be there. So Joe Rook's coming. He's the point leader by 51 points over Michael Faker. Michael's on the list. Michael Gouache on the list. All the drivers essentially coming back, right? Other than who we missing? Who we missing? Or no, we added Brian Deaver. Yeah. So yeah, everybody back from the first round. Michael Devert making his first start on the Sodi kart. You had mentioned the San Jose driver with the karting collective. So Rook's going to be tough to beat. He's just one of the top Masters drivers in the country, as we all know. But the battle we had between Faker, Gouache, Clota, and Chris Mickey, they were on top of each other the whole time. It was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah,
that's going to be the battle that we'll kind of be watching because, Joe Rook, he loves going fast. This racetrack is certainly going to be that. But again, he's going to be learning it. But again, the way I look at K1, it's a very flowing racetrack. I look at it, me and you could probably drive a shifter at this racetrack.
Sure enough. Yeah.
There you go.
At least for 10 laps.
No, I'm not saying the 18 laps in the main event. No, we couldn't do that, but yeah.
I hear you. All right, there you go. There's your preview of the shifter kart categories of this coming weekend's challenge event at K1. Another break, and this will be the final break of the show, folks. When we get back, we'll talk about Masters 100cc. We'll talk about Cadet, and we'll wrap it all up and look forward to hitting the track for David's Paddock Insiders and our first 1 minute flat from K1. Stay tuned. More to come. We'll wrap it up after this break. There's a new hot button name in American safety equipment, Stilo USA. Every product with Stilo is focused on safety, comfort, and function. Stilo USA is happy to provide you with the proper safety apparel to keep you protected on the track, and their karting lineup is second to none. New to the product lineup is the Stilo Carbon CMR karting helmet. Designed to revolutionize your karting experience, this carbon fiber crafted helmet is among the lightest on the market, without compromising on safety. The Stilo ST5 KRT karting helmet is manufactured using a lightweight and extremely strong composite material. The KRT provides an excellent fit and comfort level due to its dual density interior foam lining, and it's equipped with a symmetrical visor that offers excellent vision and an effortless central visor locking system. The Stilo ST5 CMR standard was developed jointly by the FIA Institute and Snell Memorial Foundation to ensure safer and lighter weight helmets for younger karters. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, lightweight construction, and the unparalleled field of vision that is perfect for the youth helmet line. Stilo didn't stop with their helmets either. The newly developed Carbon Curva rib protector is unlike any other on the market, with a form-fitting solution to offer superior protection. The Carbon Curva 8870 version is FIA homologated and includes a chest protector. Head to StiloHelmets.com to review these products and many more to keep you safe on the track. Stilo. Any competition, one helmet. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the United States, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. 8 brands under the OTK USA banner are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour, the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, the United States Pro Kart Series, and even more programs throughout the country. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, EOS, and Red Speed have been joined by the Gallard, LN Racing Kart, and CS55 brands. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, visit otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. OTK, the gold standard of karting. Motor mounts. They keep your engine attached to your chassis, right? The answer is, they're much more important than that. Your motor mount is critical in transferring 100% of the power from your engine through to your tires and the racetrack. You need this to get on the podium each and every time you race. Odenthal Racing Products is here for you, providing the best motor mounts on the karting market today, all designed to make sure you're using all the horsepower you pay for. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience in providing products with unmatched quality and value for our racing community. The Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines, which is available in 0, 5, and 8-degree inclinations, provides a rigid structure to help keep vibration to a minimum without adding too much weight to your setup. The 4-cycle Easy Set system is one of the most popular mounts for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Multiple mounting holes provide the most adjustability depending on your chassis and seat placement. To ensure a tight fit to your chassis, our ORP wedge clamps get the job done, and they feature a number of design updates to provide a lower profile and lighter weight. The clamps are available from 28mm to 32mm in both standard and Euro style sizes. And now, Odenthal has also revolutionized the karting industry with its new Easy GP camera mounting system. Designed to mount anywhere on your chassis with 1 or 2 cameras, the ORP Easy GP camera mount is your solution to capture that onboard winning moment. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, proudly made in the USA. Welcome back to the final segment of this edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview, our first show for, of course, this coming weekend's Challenge of the Americas event at K1. David Cole and I making our first trek to Winchester, California. Excited to check out the racetrack, but more excited, of course, for the wheel-to-wheel action throughout the weekend. Look, we're talking numbers, obviously, and not a lot of growth. But then we get David Masters up to 13, which is awesome. Anytime you get the double digits is big. 13 can become 15. A lot of Masters drivers in Southern California, all looking for a piece of Scott Falcone. Falcone on his return to the Challenge of the Americas swept the weekend. David at Tucson. Big battle between he and, hold on, I just lost it. Who was he battling with at Tucson?
He was battling with Eric Jackson.
Eric Jackson. My mind totally went blank. Jackson did not have a good weekend. Is he even on the list? I didn't get a chance.
No, he's not.
He's not coming. Yeah, that was not a great
Could
weekend.
be a walk-up entry.
Not a great weekend for him there, as we know. But hey, listen, Dave Falcone running on the Pontano chassis, but with precision Kartworks, Precision Works with Chris Freckleton's program. He was super happy out of the gate and just loved that chassis, how it was working. He did say he thought he was overstuck at the start of the weekend, but he was really essentially the class of the field all weekend long.
Well, again, I look at the tire, and it reminds me of the Mojo. And what did Scott Falcone do for many, many years, including at the Challenge? He raced on the Rotax Mojo tires. So I think that's part of it. It's not that super grippy level that a lot of drivers are used to today. Yep. So, yeah, if you're being stuck is a good thing with this tire because you can free it up and find that good balance. So I think that certainly helped Falcone's ability to kind of be the driver to beat in the Masters category. But this weekend's going to be a challenge because we got 7 new drivers from Tucson. So drivers we didn't see last month, including 3 big hitters. When you talk about former series champion Paul Bonilla with Christopher Mann, who has been a top Masters driver over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, always top 10, top 5, right? Always.
Yeah, and Quinn, who can put down some laps. So, that's going to be the fun thing is watching how this category kind of shakes out because Bonilla, he's been doing laps at K1. So is Quinn. Man, I don't think's been to K1, but he's, he was just at the Rotax race. Again, a top podium contender, I think finished second overall on the weekend. So again, it should be an interesting weekend for this category with the larger field that we have.
Yeah, Dave, 4 of the 5 in the championship right now, the top 5 of the championship are here. Falcone, Tracy, Bruce Norman, and Chad Wallace. I don't see Steve Weiner on the entry list. Steve actually had probably the most competitive weekend I've ever seen Steve run was at Tucson when he was up on the wheel, was battling it out with, I believe, Bruce Norman and Damon Duckworth all weekend long. He looked really good there. He's got himself in a little better shape, a little more race shape, and looked very good. So I hope to see Steve maybe come in here as a late entry. Another driver I do know we've watched him run before, Jeff Bays, David, coming down from the Pacific Northwest with Nelton Race Concepts. And Aaron's got a great deal going on there. Obviously, a new team to the program with Nelton Race Complex. But he's bringing some of those drivers down from the Pacific Northwest who haven't hit the racetrack yet, getting a chance to come down and run with the challenge. So we'll see what Jeff Bays has got. Because, again, he's had a lot of success up in the Pacific Northwest, coming down to SoCal to challenge the drivers who have shown so well here to start the season.
Yeah, and again, I think every category except for the shifter categories, it's kind of up there. So we'll kind of, it's again going to be have to wait and see. We'll see who comes out of Friday practice as kind of the top drivers in terms of speed. But again, with the long racetrack and the possible draft factor that it is, you just quite never know who's going to be the driver to beat.
Let's cap off our class preview with 60cc Cadet presented by the Karting Collective. 17 pre-entries coming into the weekend right now. The victors on the weekend were Nathan Ramirez and Luis Martinez. Those were the two winners on the weekend, but it actually was Lucas Tarango, David, who comes away with a point lead based on better consistency, a 7-point lead over Ramirez, a 13-point lead over Martinez. Connor Lipka in the fight as well, only 34 points back. Koa Sato, 60 points back. But again, looking at the entry list right now, we don't see Connor Lipka. Not surprising. We're not going to see Oliver Hodgson. So we may not see that Comp Kart J3 crew coming to K1 this weekend.
Yeah, I tried. I'm working on it. We'll see what we get. But yeah, that's the one thing about in Tucson with the 60cc Cadet division. We had a number of different drivers in the mix. You know, we had penalties kind of shake things up on Sunday's pre-finals, so it allowed Martinez to kind of shine in that race as he was able to hold off the field for the victory there. And we saw Ramirez picking up the win on the Parolin on Saturday. And then, as you said, Tarango was consistent both days. Was able to score a lot of points over the 2 rounds. So he's coming in off a victory at the RMC USA West event at his home track and at PKRA. So we'll see how he's able to handle the championship lead going into the weekend.
So that's it, folks. Let's wrap things up here for this edition of the OutLap as we head out to K1 for rounds 3 and 4 of this year's Challenge of the Americas. We'll have full live audio broadcast from my play-by-play at ekartingnews.com/live. You can also listen on the EKN Radio Network if you have that app downloaded to your mobile device. We'll, of course, be working the social media platforms all weekend long. David always posting those post-session top 10. So if you can't be following along, you can just scroll through Twitter, Facebook, whichever you like. We'll have those top 10s on there for you. You can always just follow the hashtag as well. Hashtag EKN at CODA. That will give you everything you want to see. Hashtag the challenge and hashtag K1 circuit. We'll make sure we'll get on that link as well. David, any final thoughts before we head out there? Obviously, checking out a brand new racetrack is cool. The championship's going to start coming more into light as we get rounds 3 and 4, get to the halfway point of the season. What else you got to cap this one off?
Seal Beach is near Long Beach. So just if you're looking at it southeast of Long Beach along the coast there. So
David, it is by the water. Good for you.
It is by the water. I love looking. I'm a geography guy. I love knowing where a lot of things are. And I did not know where Seal Beach was. And now I do. Learn something new every day, Rob.
That's what I keep telling you, David. For 20 years, you've been doing a great job. That's why you're so smart now, because you've been learning every day for 20 years from me. So good.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. It's not all the learning I did before that.
No. I plucked you out of. You were on the road selling. What were you selling? You were selling lemonade at the side of the road.
Yes,
and I found you.
Yes,
you are my diamond in the rough. Yeah, you've been my 20-year project.
Everybody knows me as a lemonade guy for sure.
No, the rum and pizza guy. Hey, listen, I will say this: we do get in and out again this weekend, which is good.
Oh yeah, I saw my niece. She lived in California for about a year, and that became her favorite burger. So
listen,
I was telling her all about it.
This is a key thing right now. We've never been to Winchester. Now, granted, I spent a lot of time in Temecula when I had my RV out there, but dude, we're staying in Murrieta. We have no idea where we're going to eat dinner.
Oh, I've already scoped this out. Right?
I would assume you have, but this is for you and I. This is new. Like literally, folks, we've been doing this for 20 years. When we go to a racetrack, we pretty much know exactly where we're going.
Well, Andy's already scoped out where he wants to go. So I did find a pizza place. It looks pretty good. So I'll let you handle the burger side of things because that's more your avenue in terms of finding where we go for that. So if anybody has suggestions, we're always looking for that. So maybe we'll have to get on Sarah Goose and all those people who have been living at K1 for the last 6 months. So
Yeah. There's a couple of drivers that are from Temecula as well. We'll have to talk to them because Myriad is just a little bit north of Temecula on the I-15. So
yeah, I'm sure you know the wine places down there too.
We're not going to be going to any wineries, although you never know. All right, folks, that wraps things up for this edition of the EKN OutLap. Follow all of our coverage throughout the weekend. Heading to K1 for the Challenge of the Americas this weekend. Excited about it. We're going to see high 60s, low 70s throughout the weekend. It's going to be a sunny weekend in K1 after getting some midweek rain. Looking forward to being there. I hope you tune into the coverage. It's going to be a great weekend of competition. We are done for this edition of the OutLap. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.